Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, as we mentioned in this video right here, as we continue to compile all the questions that you guys have about the pistol-based rule, when we begin to see questions, similar questions pop up quite routinely, we know that that's a topic that needs to be addressed. This is no different. This is perhaps the most common question we got right away. It is answered in the rule, but I think it's only partially answered in the rule, and I think I want to give you some more options. So we're not going to necessarily tell you guys how to think today, but we are going to give you lots to think about. So today, let's have a really important discussion and talk about, now that the pistol brace rule is here, what are my options? Okay, so like we mentioned, the topic we're discussing again today is ATF's new rule on firearms with attached stabilizing braces, better known as the pistol brace rule. And the source of material today, the citations to your authority today, is in fact the pistol brace rule itself. Bound copy for me, thank you very much. And this will be found on pages 12 to 14. And then in addition to that, always the full service operation that your ATF is, this handy dandy little help sheet that they were kind enough to send to all of the FFLs nationwide about ways that in which people can bring themselves into compliance. I want to thank our good friends at Security Gun Club for getting me a copy of that sheet. Now, on pages 12 through 14 of the new rule, there is 4 options that ATF will give you if, and this is the if for today now, right? If you happen to own a firearm that you used to call an AR pistol, I used to call an AR pistol, but we woke up one morning to find out, no, actually they're federally regulated short barrel rifles. You now might become the proud parent of an NFA item. What can you do legally to bring yourself into compliance with law? Now, for all of those people who I know are already banging away on the keyboard and saying, I'm telling you right now, F you, shall not infringe, I'm not going to comply, that is fine. You have the right to do so, but candidly, none of the options that I, as a lawyer, a licensed member of the Bar Association, I will not be conferring with any of you about the F you, shall not infringe, and will not comply. These are more what we like to call legally available options for you, okay? Okay, so if we own a firearm that we once thought was an AR pistol, but actually turns out it's an SBR, here's option number 1. You can destroy the firearm. That's right. ATF is giving you the opportunity to destroy your own personal property, okay? Option number 2, according to the ATF, is you could surrender the firearm to the ATF. Now, I think that we have to recognize that option 1 and option 2 is quite akin to either choosing between getting punched in the mouth or kicked in the groin. However, if I were to fall into category 2, where I'm just thinking that I'm just going to call up my local friendly ATF agent and say, hey, I got a bunch of firearms that you guys might think are unlawful. Why don't you come on by and pick them up? I probably would switch to item number 1 and just have the enjoyment of cutting the thing up. But those are your first 2 options. Okay, the third option is a little bit more complex, a little bit more reasonable too, I will point out. And there really is one option that ATF discusses, and I think there actually is 2 options that you can do here, okay? And that is this. You can reconfigure this firearm such that this rule does not apply anymore, okay? And the way that ATF suggests, and we have discussed it already on this video right here, is that if this was, for example, your AR pistol with a 10.5-inch barrel, if you took the 10.5-inch barrel off, replace it with a 16-inch barrel, at this point you are not going to fall under the definition of a short barrel rifle because you have a 16-inch barrel. Now, interestingly enough, what you do have is a mildly poorly configured rifle, but at this point with a 16-inch barrel, you can go ahead and take the pistol brace off, put a full rifle buttstock on there, and hey, you got yourself an AR rifle. Now remember, this is super important, and we had to correct ourselves with this video right here. This is really important. Take note. If we are going from a pistol to a rifle, that's not a problem, okay? But if we're going from a rifle to a pistol, that is a big, big problem unless we have gone through all the appropriate NFA and ATF paperwork. So, pistol to rifle, not a problem. Rifle to pistol, big problem. So that is one of two ways that you can reconfigure the firearm. The second way that you could actually reconfigure the firearm, and we talked about it in this video right here. And at the time, we were just kind of speculating, and we were still operating on Form 4999 and all of that stuff. But you could, in fact, just remove the pistol brace from the firearm. But there's a little bit more to that if you take a look at ATF's rule, specifically on page 223. Okay, and I'm sure all you guys have already gotten back to page 223 on the rule. But what it says is that you can remove the brace such that the brace cannot be reattached. Now, what that means, I have no idea. And so I would suggest that you talk to a well-seasoned, experienced gunsmith or FFL who might be able to better explain how the hell we can do that. And how can we do it in a way so that, especially for those that have the AR platform, where that buffer tube is necessary for the cycle of operation, how it can be done and still the firearm remain functional. Okay, so, and then if we don't want to reconfigure the firearm, we don't want to cut it up, we don't want to surrender it, we can actually register the firearm through an E-Form 1 with the ATF during the amnesty period. It is tax-free, and you would register the firearm as a short barrel rifle. Now, again, we've already talked about it in this video and this video here, but just a quick synopsis. You have 120 days from the date that the rule is published, roughly giving us out to about May 18th, May 19th, right in there. And if you register the firearm with a Form 1 within that 120-day period, and ATF accepts the application, you will have an NFA registered firearm. You will do so, however, without having to pay the $200 tax stamp. Now, we'll be doing other videos because I want you to know that that brings with it a whole other beast of obligations and concerns you have once you dip your toes into the NFA waters. But that is, in fact, what you would have. Now, remember that as long as you have the application submitted within that 120-day window, that is considered to be good, and you will be considered to be in lawful possession until ATF makes a determination one way or the other. I think that there's going to be a huge influx of these applications at the tail end. I think the system is going to crash, and I think many of us will be in a holding pattern for perhaps as long as a year. Okay, so that is the 4 options that ATF gives you. Now, I'm going to give you guys a 5th option. We actually talked about it in this video, and I'm going to give you a 6th option, which is kind of a common sense one, okay? What we know is that in order for us to not even get into the world of short barrel rifles, that we have to have a barrel that is at least 16 inches in length. Now, barrel length usually does not include the muzzle device in the length measurement unless the muzzle device is pin welded and permanently attached to the barrel. In that situation, you get to use the muzzle device in the overall measurement length of the barrel. So, if we had this AR pistol here, we could certainly register it as an SBR tax-free. But if we happen to have a suppressor for it that was already registered, therefore we've already paid the tax stamp, or if we want to go this way and purchase a suppressor. Now, understand when we purchase a suppressor, we are going to be paying the $200 that we could avoid otherwise. But if we had that, or if somehow or another the barrel was such length and we could do so with some type of barrel device, a flash hider or compensator that could be permanently attached to the barrel, and we've gotten to the point where we are now officially at 16 inches, this rule does not apply to you whatsoever. Now, I recognize that that alters the configuration of the firearm and defeats the purpose of having a shorter barreled firearm. But that is a 5th option. I think it's an option that is good for some of you. I recognize that for many of you, it's more headache than it is benefit. I also recognize that it just may not be the right fit, but I want you to be aware of it. And if you're more interested in that as a potential solution, check out this video right here. The final option, option number 6, and this is the one that I'm going to choose right now, and again, that's just me, take it for what it's worth, is I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for about 30, maybe even 60 days. I'm going to see what the Gun Owners of America and what the Firearms Policy Coalition, what the Second Amendment Foundation do. I want to see where these injunctions go. You know there's going to be an injunction filed in a Louisiana court, a Texas court, a Georgia court, an Alabama court, someplace that actually does respect our God-given rights. This rule is absolutely, positively, and without a doubt heading towards litigation. And if you take a look at all of the videos that we've done about various other ways that case law has developed to attack this rule can be attacked on many more grounds than just straightforward on the Second Amendment. So I'm going to be waiting 30, maybe even 60 days, see what the lay of the land looks like. Then, when I decide what I'm going to do with my firearms that I believe do qualify, I will share it with you. It will be no secret. It will be a learning opportunity for me, and hopefully it can be a learning opportunity for all of you. Listen, in the meantime, if you have any other questions about the pistol brace rule or what's left of your Second Amendment rights, you know the drill. You can always contact us directly at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. In the meantime, let's all remember now that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.